Thank you for joining me here today, and what a beautiful day it is, and welcome. And welcome to a response to Father Mike on what he wrote underneath his chalice. Now, Father Mike, I was called over 20 years ago to consecrate the Eucharist within the Catholic Church, and I had to become a theologian to try and understand why it was that God was calling me to consecrate the Eucharist, and the Church's teachings were prohibiting it. Now, Father Mike, you're very, very happy in this clip, and you're talking about before you received the consecration that your parents are allowed to buy you the chalice and write words underneath it. And you said that your parents gave you the chalice and that underneath the chalice are the words trust, love, mum and dad. And you say that trust is everything, and always has been, and your eyes well up. You know, you're so overcome with this beautiful gift that God has granted to you, the most precious gift of consecrating the Holy of Holies. Now, Father Mike, as I was watching this, I was thinking to myself how wonderful it would have been if my parents had been able to give me a chalice before they passed. But they didn't. They couldn't. Because I am a woman. I am a woman forbidden by the Church. So though your eyes may well up, Father Mike, with emotion and love of God, your parents, the token gift, mine should well up too, with tears of being forbidden. A Catholic baptized woman that has been called for over 20 years. But as I was thinking about this, my beloved God brought into my mind the prophecies that God delivered unto me to call me to consecrate the Eucharist. And one of them, the very first one, Father Mike, were the symbols of the Eucharist. One of them being the chalice. So you see, Father Mike, your mum and dad may have bought that chalice for you, but my God delivered it to me personally in a prophecy. And that makes tears in my eyes well. You think that you have faith? God has called me to renew the Church. God has called me to believe in God more than the Church's teachings. God has called me through the voice of the Holy Spirit that was given to the very early believers at Pentecost to spread the good news that Peter proclaimed, the words from the prophet Joel from the Old Testament, that the Holy Spirit will come down upon all flesh, and all sons and daughters will prophesy. I have been given the greatest gift because I get to prove to God how strong my faith is, because I am choosing God over the Church's teachings. And viewers, And viewers, as we have seen, there have been many changes within the church where people and popes that have been led by the Holy Spirit have brought about change for the better of all the people. Not to mention the Latin Mass. There are so many changes because we must continue to grow and be led by the Holy Spirit. Look at the church today, Father Mike. The priests within it are disfigured by sexual abuse, as Pope Benedict XVI said. He said, filth has entered the church. Is that one of the reasons why women are not being permitted to consecrate the Eucharist? Because such roles hold leadership and decision making. There would be no way, if I was a priest within the Catholic Church, that I would ever cover up for my own sake, for fear of excommunication. Would I ever call myself God's representative if I allowed to witness or to know of such heinous crimes and do nothing? Father Mike, have a heart. Spare even one tiny little moment of women that are being called, like Mary was, our beloved Queen Mary of Heaven, called by God, loved by Jesus. Do not exclude women. Women were the beginning of the birth of Christianity. Thank you for listening, viewers, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.